I have searched far and wide for you, wise man. Please tell me about life. Well, life is like a fish. And how is life like a fish, O wise one? Alright, maybe life isn't like a fish.
The Fool's Journey. Thanks to the lion tamer lady, the fool now understands all about inner strength. Soon he once again finds himself high up in the mountains.
Whoa, I'm not making that mistake again. Welcome, traveller. What? Where did you come from? Just over by there. This is where I live, see?
Well, I must say you're in a very high place.
Oh yes, I can see all the wonders of the world from here. All the beauty of nature, the mysteries of the cosmos, the strength and courage of the human spirit. I see people triumphing in the face of adversity, helping each other, loving each other.
Oh, well, that sounds wonderful.
I also see hatred, torture, and bigotry. I see dehumanization, brother turning against brother. I see suffering for greed and profit. I witness humanity at its worst.
Oh no, that's terrible. I must do something. Why do things have to be like that?
This is the way of the world. Happiness and suffering, joy and misery, the haves and the have-nots. If you are to complete your journey, you must learn to accept this. You can't bring change into the world if you can't bring yourself to witness the injustice happening around you.
But what can I do to make things better? I'm just a fool.
That's for you to decide. You have a unique perspective on life. No one else can see the world through your eyes, only you. What you've seen here has come from outside, but now you must look inside for the answers you seek. I'll give you some time alone.
The hermit leaves the fool to ponder on his thoughts, his heart filled with sadness at the darkness he has seen in the hermit's eyes. What's the point in carrying on? The world's falling apart, but I can't change anything. What power do I have? At this point, an idea pops into the fool's mind. Wait, that's it. I can't change the world, but I can change my world. With a renewed sense of spirit and purpose, the fool finds his way back to the hermit.
Welcome back, traveller. Feeling better?
Yeah, now I can see what I need to do. I must finish my journey and find my authentic self so I can make a difference in the world.
That's more like it. Now go forth into the world and shine your light of authenticity so that others will be inspired to shine theirs. Change happens in a heartbeat, one person at a time. Be that person, traveller. Be the light of the universe.
I will. Thank you so much.
Well, it had to happen, didn't it?
Predictably, the fool once again finds himself in a heap at the bottom of a mountain. To be continued.
Welcome back to Kippy's Quest. This week we're taking a trip deep into our minds with the Hermit. Sorry, I drifted off there. Anyway, the Hermit card is all about taking a step back, withdrawing from society and spending some quality time with ourselves. It's about focusing on what we need rather than what we want. In the last video, we looked at the Strength card and we talked about how life can sometimes get on top of us. The Hermit can be just what the doctor ordered in those times, giving ourselves some space to reflect, collect our thoughts and rediscover what's really important to us. I don't know if you've seen the latest craze on YouTube right now, but everyone seems to be talking about something called the dopamine fast. This is about taking time away from all the hyperstimulation around us so we can reset our endorphin levels and get some clarity of mind. What they don't tell you is that people have been doing this for centuries. But they're absolutely right. The modern age is filled with technology designed to keep us scrolling, watching, and engaged for as long as possible. While certain aspects of this are wonderful, and I love technology as much as anyone, we also have to see that continually jumping from one virtual world to another is putting us in a kind of sleepwalking state. Just being in solitude has become almost impossible, even when we're on our own. Thanks to social media, we've now got people with us all the time, which is why it's so important to spend some time away from screens, Netflix, Facebook.
Spotify?
Alright, calm down. We don't need to go crazy.
Addict?
But just taking some time away from all that stuff and concentrating on ourselves for a little while can be just what we need. I would say that in the modern age, the Hermit card is more important now than ever, and for our own sake, we can't afford to ignore it. Before we move on, I just wanted to draw your attention to two cards in the minor arcana that are closely related to the Hermit. The first is the Four of Swords. Now on the surface, this may look like a card of death, but it's actually about withdrawal and solitude, much like the Hermit card itself. The other is the Eight of Cups. In this card, we can see a figure with a staff abandoning his cups and walking up a hill. Many see this as the precursor to the Hermit card, in the sense that he's walking away from everyday concerns to pursue something more meaningful. Anyway, we'll be getting to those when we cover the minor arcana. Arthur Edward Waite's brief description of the Hermit reads as prudence, circumspection, also and especially treason, dissimulation. What? So dissimulation, roguery and corruption. Now this varies quite a lot from the full description given earlier in the Key to the Tarot. Waite himself says that the negative characteristics are artificial and arbitrary. Once again, we're going to have to dig a little deeper to find out how he really felt about the Hermit.
So what exactly are hermits? A brief history of hermits.
A hermit is a person who spends their life in solitude, often for religious or spiritual purposes. The classic depiction of a hermit is a recluse who is old and clapped out. He shuns society and other people in favour of finding his own path through life.
Bugger off!
However, they can also be seen as a source of wisdom and power, turning up in countless stories and legends.
Some notable hermits include St. Seraphim of Sarov, seen here sharing his dinner with a bear. 'Cause that's a good idea. Sarah of the Desert, who practiced the so-called desert theology of the Old Testament.
You need a change of heart.
No problem, I'll just pop out and wander the desert for 40 years. Do you need anything while I'm out? And Ken Smith, the Hermit of Traig, who still lives alone in the Scottish Highlands, hunting and growing his own food at the ripe old age of 74.
After 20 years of prayer, solitude and devotion, the Lord God finally manifests before the Hermit.
My child, I now appear before you.
God be praised! But tell me, Lord, why have you taken so long?
Time works differently in heaven. What feels like 20 years to you is a mere second to me. But you have proven yourself worthy, and I shall reward you with any wish that you desire.
Then I would like a kingdom, a beautiful wife, and lots of wealth.
Very well, my child. Oh shoot, I've forgotten my wishing wand. Stay there, I'll be back in a minute.
The design of this particular card remains largely unchanged over the centuries. In the Tarot de Marseille, the card is called l'Hermit. L'Hermit? L'Hermit. I am trying.
Very trying.
And it shows a near identical scene of an old man carrying a staff and a lantern. The only real difference in the Rider-Waite card is the six-pointed star in the lantern and the depiction of the hermit standing on a high precipice, much like the fool at the beginning of his journey. The difference is that the hermit has the wisdom to know when to stop.
Yeah, all right, leave me alone.
His position high on the mountain is said to represent his stature as an accomplished spiritual guide. The lantern he carries is thought to shine the light that guides us on our path to a higher spiritual understanding. According to Waite, this is a card of attainment. His beacon intimates that where I am, you may also be.
But what does it all mean?
When the hermit appears, he's usually telling us that now is a good time to get away from everyone and do some soul searching. We often find ourselves at a crossroads in our lives, or questioning some of our core beliefs. The hermit reminds us that we carry our own light of wisdom and truth, and that maybe we could benefit from escaping from the confusions of the outside world to look inside for answers. Another aspect that we saw in the Fool's journey is coming to terms with bad things happening in the world. Sometimes we witness things that affect us, and a little time alone can help us to process those feelings. He also indicates a guide, but not in the same sense as the teacher that we encountered at number 5 in the Major Arcana. While the Hierophant imparts knowledge to us, the Hermit actually shows us the way. The upside-down Hermit can indicate the negative aspects of solitude. It's been said that loneliness is a modern epidemic, and it's no exaggeration to say that despite how connected we are, we're becoming more and more isolated from each other. Now, while we're seeing a shift toward an increasing number of people spending most of their time alone, it's not the same concept as what we're talking about with the Hermit. Sitting on our asses playing Call of Duty for 12 hours on our Jack Jones is unlikely to yield any spiritual benefits. The Hermit reversed could be telling you to get out there, hit the bars. Well, you don't have to hit the bars. You could join a yoga class or something. Or do what I did, join a choir. It's very enjoyable.
Perhaps not so much for the other singers who have to listen to you.
Maybe not, but it's fun. We do concerts. And then we hit the bars. Reversed, the Hermit can also mean childishness. Rachel Pollack says because the card when the right way up suggests maturity, the Hermit reversed can sometimes indicate a Peter Pan attitude to life. The person hangs on to basically meaningless activities.
A bit like sitting in your spare room talking to imaginary friends. Correspondence Corner!
The Hermit sits on the 20th path of the Tree of Life between Chesed and Tiferet. This is the path between mercy and beauty. He corresponds to the Hebrew letter Yud, which means hand. His musical note is F natural. His corresponding plant is licorice, and his zodiac sign is Virgo.
The big takeaway for the Hermit card is the concepts of personal and spiritual growth from taking time out and looking inside ourselves. According to Rachel Pollack, the card carries within it a deliberate purpose of withdrawing to work on self-development.
Thank you for tuning in to Kippy's Quest. May the coming days bring you peace, introspection, and the wisdom to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Until next time.